welcome back. Today we're checking out another death battle video. Today it's going to be Thanos versus Darkseid. This video was a commenter suggestion, so thank you very much for that. Always love doing these death battles. These things are always a ton of fun. Two comic book characters, so I feel fairly certain that I'm going to get this one right because comics are kind of my jam. It's kind of my area of expertise, if you will. Off the top of my head, gonna have to go with Darkseid. In the comics, he's typically the stronger of the two, even though there's been this back and forth between them for decades now. Darkseid did come first, and Thanos came second as an intentional response to Darkseid. So when Thanos first came out, he was intentionally written to be stronger than Darkseid. That was on purpose. Over the years, they've continuously bumped each other's power up, and it's kind of been like this weird arms race between the two. But with Darkseid's newest lore, with his most recent incarnations in the comics, I'm definitely going to have to give it to Darkseid. So let's go ahead and get into the breakdown, see what they have to say about it.
Power. Some spend entire lives in search of it, while for others, it is their birthright. But what truly matters in the end is how it's used.
Like with Thanos, the ultimate villain of the Avengers.
And Darkseid, arch nemesis to the Justice League.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Over 1 million years ago, when mankind's evolution first broke away from the apes, the cosmic celestials arrived on Earth. They experimented on the human race, creating 3 separate variants. The powerful and beautiful Eternals, destined for immortality. Those with a latent mutated gene, which would one day spawn the X-Men. And a deformed, disturbing subspecies known as the Deviants.
Like that one website with all the porn.
What?
Anyway, the Eternals eventually colonized the moons of Saturn thanks to this science wizard named Mentor, whose collar's like the lampshade I put on my dog to make him stop licking his junk.
Charming. But while the Eternals seemed like a perfect people, Mentor's own son would change this forever and force the cosmos to its knees. His name was Thanos.
You were a fool to betray me, Ronan. Prepare to meet your doom.
Thanos was born into a life of luxury. Sure, his mom went totally insane and tried to kill him right away, but what do you think you'd do if you popped out a creepy California raisin baby?
It seems the Celestials' experiments weren't quite so different from each other. Despite his eternal heritage, Thanos' large, disproportionate body and thick purple skin were thanks to a deviant mutation.
Which you'd think would mean everyone would hate him, but nope! The Eternals were super progressive and totally cool with a wrinkly grimace walking around.
In fact, Thanos was greatly admired for his exceptional intelligence and creativity. He was set for a positive and decorated future.
Until he threw it all away for a girl. Hey, I don't blame him. Lots of guys do crazy shit for hot chicks, especially when you're a secret murder-happy psycho who's obsessed with the physical manifestation of death.
To earn death's reciprocal love, Thanos took a journey, a quest, to ravage the universe in her name.
And as an Eternal, he had plenty of superhuman power to do it. He was already the strongest and fastest Eternal around, but he boosted his power even more with bionic and magic enhancements.
And while his physical and psionic abilities are impressive, his incredible genius led to building massive spaceships, shields that can withstand planet-level attacks, and even a time window.
And the most badass throne ever! It comes packed with its own laser weapons, light speed travel, and it can teleport through space and time!
And unlike most Eternals, Thanos has also dabbled in the mystic arts. Petrification, curses, even some of his throne's abilities seem to be more magic than hard science. All of this potential makes Thanos an incredibly dangerous foe.
Yeah, good luck trying to hurt him. He can survive pretty much anything, including a gun specifically designed to kill him. He even shot himself in the face with it just to prove how goddamn awesome he is. Don't try that at home, kids.
He's strong enough to overpower 2 Thors at once, snap a universal weapon known for its extreme durability, and even lift the gargantuan Galactus engine.
A giant super rocket big enough to move planets. According to Mr. Fantastic, and that guy knows his stuff, this thing is hundreds of miles long.
While the Galactus engine's size seems to vary from comic to comic, Reed's assertion matches its appearance when it propelled Ego the Living Planet. By examining the engine in 3 separate parts, applying the density of steel, and comparing Ego's diameter of 4,165 miles, we found that Thanos must be lifting about 50 quintillion tons. That's like holding up 140 trillion Empire State Buildings.
And he's doing this inside the gut of a living Kurt Russell planet that eats other planets and even stars. Man, I thought I had an iron stomach.
But destroying a star isn't a simple thing. Any energy directed toward a star would just be absorbed and adapted to. Only by completely nullifying a star's constant energy output can it be eliminated.
So Ego's stomach acid must be deadlier than freaking supernovas or a black hole. He'd probably love Mama Boomstick's world-famous ghost pepper pie.
Ugh.
It's fine, just dip it in some squirrel paste.
Surviving the stomach of Ego isn't so far-fetched for Thanos, considering he's also survived a dip in a black hole, extreme reality warping across the metaverse, and the voice of Black Bolt.
What's so special about this guy, you ask? Well, with just a whisper, he obliterated 1 billion tons of rock. This guy can easily break a planet with just one shout, and Thanos took 3 of them to the face.
Although Thanos isn't known for being a speedster character, he's still quick enough to battle the likes of Silver Surfer, a being who can cover 500,000 light years in just a couple of seconds, putting him over 3 trillion times faster than light. With so many impressive showings, it's hard to truly find a weakness.
Except for one.
Oh, god damn it!
Thank you.
Okay.
Glad to be here.
All right.
It's me, Deadpool, slayer of deathstrokes, befriender of ponies, and breaker of mad titan hearts. I'm like Casanova, the ravenous reaper can't get enough of me, and Thanos just hates that. Ooh.
Well, Thanos did curse him so he couldn't die and be with her.
Yeah, people forget about that when they talk about Deadpool and they have this argument about whether he could fight to the death with another character. They tend to forget that Deadpool can't technically die. He's actually been barred from seeing death ever again by Thanos. So Deadpool's technically immortal?
I know, right? He's a big purple crybaby. Have you seen that chin, though? It's like he got hit in the face with a slap chop.
Don't you have like a party in Ponytown to be at?
Ah, come on, buddy. You can't have a death battle season without Deadpool, right?
We did. The last one.
Nobody counts that one. I mean, that's a year you pit a dog in a trench coat against a goddamn bear. What did you think would happen?
Yeah.
Whatever. I know when I'm not wanted. See you next year. DP out.
Oh, good riddance.
Even with all of these powers and abilities, Thanos still felt he needed something more to impress Death. Think he's compensating for something, Wiz?
Oh, absolutely. So he built...
Oh, the Thanos copter. The Thanos copter is one of those ridiculous things in comics where kind of like when they give the Flash a car or a motorcycle or something like that. It's like he can run faster than any vehicle you could ever give him. So him having a vehicle makes no sense whatsoever. And it's kind of like the Thanos copter. No, makes no sense. It's a ridiculous thing for him to have, but he had it. Okay.
The Infinity Gauntlet, a golden glove which harnessed the power of 6 multicolored gems, known as Infinity Stones. With these, he could control the full spectrum of space, reality, mind, power, soul, and time.
And with those powers combined, he summons Captain Planet!
Well, more like the destruction of half the universe, but sure, whatever.
Steve? Same difference. But wait, isn't the Time Stone the green one in Doctor Strange's necklace?
Well, in the movie universe, the Time Stone is green, but in the original comic series, it's orange. This is because every universe has its own unique Infinity Gauntlet that works exclusively there. And sometimes the stones are different in color. Here, just follow this handy diagram I made.
Yeah, don't care. So with all the stones...
And since I'm sure a big argument in favor of Thanos is the Infinity Stones and the gauntlet and whatnot, the stones are actually more limited than you would think. They only work in the reality they were created in. Taking them anywhere outside of that reality turns them into useless trinkets. They were taken over to the DC universe at one point, and Darkseid got a hold of the Infinity Gauntlet. And he threw it away because it was garbage. It literally did nothing. It had no effect whatsoever. The gems were useless. I presume since it's his most famous feat, it's the thing he's most well known for, and they did the whole MCU saga revolving around the Infinity Stones, they're probably going to let him have it in this, so let's keep going.
He wiped out half the universe with only a snap of his fingers. But he also started going a bit crazy and began to doubt his ability to perform. Hey, happens to the best of us.
Yet it never keeps the Mad Titan at bay for long, whose constant lust for power and godly status in the universe is only matched by his drive to just kill everybody.
Dread it, run from it, destiny arrives all the same. And now it's here. Or should I say, I am.
All right, so that was a pretty good breakdown of Thanos. They did a good job there. Covered all the major points that they really needed to cover. I will say that his physiology might be holding him back, and there's a weird thing with Thanos where Thanos is almost his own worst enemy in a lot of stories. A lot of stories he stands in his own way, not only metaphorically as like an internal struggle with himself, but also literally, where there's been times where there's been versions of Thanos that he's had to try to work with that were himself from a different point in the time stream. He's just this weird kind of lone wolf thing. Even though he does have some people by his side, more often than not, Thanos kind of works by himself. Doesn't really command armies that much, honestly. Again, typically he's kind of like a solo entity out there in the universe. So he has a weird thing. I mean, most, if not all of these major villains kind of have an ego thing, but Thanos has a weird ego thing where it kind of works against him a lot of times. He makes weird, dumb decisions because of his ego, and it's on more than one occasion been the reason that all of his plans get undone. So I don't know. All right, because Darkseid really doesn't have that problem, and I'm not gonna lie, Thanos is just kind of a simp. You know, if Death tells him to do something, he'll do it, even if it's stupid and against his own interests. He'll do it. All right, let's go ahead and see what they have to say about Darkseid.
10 billion years ago, the primeval old gods clashed in a cosmic civil war called Ragnarok.
That the one with Thor and Jeff Goldblum?
No. Yes, kind of. The battle was so great that the result was an explosion that tore the gods asunder, sending a great god wave throughout the metaverse, eventually birthing a new generation known as the New Gods.
How original! Well, some of these include Alpine Space Skier, Fancy Pants Shakespeare, and this cyborg spider Humpty Dumpty. Half of these guys ended up on a beautiful paradise world called New Genesis, while the rest got stuck on an actual fireball called Apocalypse. With a K.
Among these damned souls was Prince Euxus, second in line to the throne behind his older brother Drax. Not Dave Bautista Drax, but DC Drax.
Aw, man, I really like that guy. He's not afraid to say what he's thinking.
You are horrifying to look at, yes.
To rule Apocalypse, Drax was meant to enter the mysterious Omega Pit and absorb the Omega Effect, a force of destructive entropy bound within Apocalypse.
But being the crafty bastard he was, Euxus tricked DC Drax into getting killed and stole the loot for himself.
And so the Omega Effect transformed Euxus into the physical manifestation of tyranny.
Okay, I will say this is the old lore for Darkseid's origins. In the new origins, he went around killing and absorbing the powers of all the gods that came before him. Okay, so they might be going with the old lore, not the new lore, but let's keep going.
Darkseid.
Now what?
Now you die.
As the king of Apocalypse, Darkseid entered a war on the universe. Whether he was kicking New Genesis ass or giving the Man of Steel a hard time, Darkseid was always working toward his one goal: conquering all life.
And thanks to his new god physiology, he has incredible superhuman strength, speed, agility, and even immortality. He's already over 245,000 years old, and that's given him plenty of time to push the limits of the Omega Effect.
He's got a whole bunch of cool Omega powers that break all the rules of nature. He can teleport across time and space, fly at unthinkable speeds, warp reality around him, and grow supersized.
Something he's pretty used to doing. The scale between the Prime Universe and Darkseid's own universe, the Fourth World, is vast. He travels between universes via boom tubes, which automatically adjusts his...
Okay, I was gonna touch on this. The reason why I brought up Thanos' physiology when I was talking about him, and they are touching on it here. The new gods are massive, and I mean massive. In some depictions, you can fit into their hands, like is happening here in this shot. And in other depictions, new gods have been depicted as large enough to fit entire planets in the palm of their hand. Varies from writer to writer, and it has changed over the years. But in general, the new gods, they would be considered giants compared to a regular human or a Kryptonian or something like that. And the only reason he appears to be normal size is, as they say here, when he travels through a boom tube, it adjusts his size. That does not affect his power at all, but it adjusts his size. And that works in reverse as well. It adjusts your size accordingly so that things aren't wildly out of proportion for the person who's traveling through the boom tube. It's another reason boom tubes are awesome. Glad they touched on that. Let's keep going.
Size to what is considered normal within his destination. Otherwise, he'd have a hard time fitting in, given that the normal size of a new god is about the size of a star.
Oh yeah, I've had that kind of trouble with my boomstick tube.
He can use various psionic powers like telekinesis and telepathy, and can easily manipulate sentient beings thanks to a cosmic awareness of the multiverse powered by 18 divine senses.
You know, I bet he never forgets where he leaves his keys.
Along the lines of multiversal senses, talking about the multiverse, you know how for the most part, a lot of these characters, they have different versions of themselves in different universes? Well, that does not apply to Darkseid. There's not a different Darkseid in each universe. There's not alternate universes that have a different version of Darkseid. No. Regardless of what universe you go in throughout the multiverse, there is only one Darkseid. You know, it's almost like a massive entity that's beyond a single universe, and that entity can reach and stick its tentacles into every universe at the same time. So what you're seeing is not actually Darkseid, it's a part of Darkseid. And that's why there is no multiversal differences between Darkseid. He's always the same because it's the same guy that you're seeing. It's he's wild. Like so I'm saying, the power scaling here is a little bit different.
Like a space-age necromancer, Darkseid can possess living or deceased beings, controlling them like puppets. He can even control basic inanimate objects, just like the Nomad of Nowhere.
Holy shit! Wiz, never thought I'd say this, but I might have had too much to drink.
But Darkseid's deadliest technique is his signature Omega Beams. These burning lasers of hatred are capable of instant sharp turns and tracking multiple targets at once.
They're splitting up. They can do that? They're locked on us.
On contact, the beams can either disintegrate their target, transmute matter, erase beings from existence, or trap enemies in the Omega Sanction. The Omega Sanction is a sort of life trap. Its target enters a self-contained reality where they live out an infinite number of lives for eternity.
Oh, that doesn't sound so bad. I'd just do a Bill Murray and use all those lives to learn piano or save a dog. Yeah, that's probably about it.
Well, there's a catch. Each life in the Sanction gets progressively worse as it goes, including how you die. When the third Mr. Miracle was trapped in it, he was fairly unaware, until he was beaten, burned, mutilated, and castrated, broken to a point of intentionally overdosing. And that was just his first life in the Sanction.
Oh. No thanks, I'm good.
To overpower the multiverse, Darkseid would face some pretty steep competition. However, his power eclipses those of even some of the strongest heroes around.
He's fast enough to take a trip to the Source Wall in just a few seconds. That's at the
Okay, yeah, we're not going to get into the Source Wall. We're not going to get into all that noise.
very edge of existence. So, like, you're not gonna be able to map quest that shit.
The edge of the observable universe is about 45 billion light years away, and scientists hypothesize the actual scale is over 106 sextillion times greater. It took a whole year for the legendary Helm of Nabu to make this journey. But for Darkseid, all of 5 seconds. To pull this off, he'd have to be moving over 87 duodecillion times the speed of light.
Which is totally a real number that I understand. But if he's super big in Fourth World, wouldn't he have an easier time getting to the edge?
We're factoring the scaling across his universe as a whole. Besides, technically the Fourth World is 4 billion years older than our own universe, so the distance to the edge is probably even further.
He's so quick, he can choke out Superman before he even sees him move, or knock him out cold in just a few bitch slaps. And Superman can survive supernovas to the face. Also, since Darkseid wasn't affected by the Crisis Mega Reboot, it's still canon that he can blitz pre-Crisis soups who can sneeze solar systems away.
Darkseid is strong enough to crush a lantern ring with ease, destroy planets with his Omega beams, and wipe out the Justice League with a single strike. Even with all this power, Darkseid believed he could not dominate the universe until he discovered his ultimate prize, the anti-life equation.
Ha! I knew numbers were bad for you! Take that, Miss Jensen, and your stupid ruler!
The anti-life is technically an entity of its own, a fragmented piece of the source from which all life originates. However, Darkseid discovered a formula which essentially manipulates the anti-life's presence in all living things, in a manner which definitively proves that all freedom and hope are meaningless efforts.
So it's math that just makes you sad.
Yes, and a slave to Darkseid, but yes. So the anti-life is pretty weird, but you know what's even more so? The Darkseid that you think you know isn't actually Darkseid.
Say what now?
He became the very essence of tyranny itself. This non-corporeal...
Okay, so now they are getting into new lore, and they are going to talk about his omniversal self, true form Darkseid. Let's see.
God rests in the higher plane of Fourth World and molds avatars of his consciousness to interact with the multiverse around him. While each avatar is weaker than his true self, it's a necessary handicap, as his own existence in a universe other than Fourth World would shatter the laws of reality, ending time and space as we know it. The sheer power of the Omega Effect threatens entire cosmos, similar to how its equal, the Astroforce, could counter an Oblivion Bomb, capable of annihilating the universe in a single blast.
Holy shit! His avatar may lose some power, but it's still tough enough to survive a bomb Lex Luthor designed to rip apart existence, and a shot from Marvelous Marno's Master Blaster, which sounds like it was made up by a circus clown. And that kinda makes sense because apparently no life form can stand up to it. Just like clowns.
Except for Darkseid.
Well, Darkseid isn't immune to all guns. All you need is a neat little Radion bullet.
Think of Radion as the new god's kryptonite. Despite all his power, Darkseid is far from invincible. He's had his heart ripped out, his soul stolen by death, and his essence shattered by Superman, singing.
Hey Darkseid, look at this photograph!
To this day, even after so many cataclysmic events, the Lord of Apocalypse continues his mission. Every living being in the multiverse will bend to the will of Darkseid.
It seems I have you to thank for my resurrection. Though your world will suffer slowly, I grant you a quick death.
All right, so that was their breakdown for Darkseid. Again, overall, pretty good, pretty well researched. These guys typically do a good job with their research. Even after hearing everything they had to say, leaning with Darkseid because he is just a force that's just a little bit bigger than Thanos is. Don't for a second get me wrong. I'm not trash talking Thanos. Thanos is still one of the most formidable forces in the Marvel Universe. There's plenty of storylines where Thanos comes out on top and he beats everyone else. Anyways, enough rambling, enough ranting. Let's go ahead and let the fight play out. See what Death Battle has to say about all of this.
You can fly, you can teleport, it'll send you through time and space, and it's perfect for gaming. You follow me? Sure you do. You're a forward-thinking guy.
At last, there it is.
Okay, good animation.
Thanos! Buddy! How are you doing? Rocking that chin as always.
Get off my throne and kneel. Face death at the hand of your new emperor.
You know not the infinite wealth of destruction I command.
Is that? Just headbutts his fist. Hands behind his back still.
Dare strike me. Beg for the sweet release of death.
You first.
Battle for the universe, let's get striking. Feel the power and the force of the mightiest fighting. Energy blast, hit fast, things like lightning. You win a new god or the hands of a titan. I'm the king.
Custom music for it? Okay.
Yeah, hard and pride crash like when stars collide. Feel it all inside. I'm ready for your soul, your mind. I'm the king. I'm the king.
Thanos copter!
I'm the king. Let's get it on. I'm here. Don't give me love, just feel. Since I make my commit and the universe in my will. My power's making you deal.
Look at him. Just standing there.
Phone number and I'm making a call. I'll walk through portals, step on the borders of time and space. You're never stopping this. King of apocalypse, turn planets into slaves. Better give me respect. I bring sparks to death.
Oh! I love Omega Beams. The way they move.
Heads roll when I step in. Give me your neck.
I am Thanos. Thanos is supreme. Thanos is God.
Pretty solid attack. Throw him into the sun and then cause it to collapse into a black hole. That's a pretty solid attack. Go Thanos. But you forget who you're playing with.
Yeah, hard and pride crash like when stars collide. Feel it all inside. Ready for your soul's demise. I'm the king. I'm the king. Inside, I'm full of pride. I'm sleeping vanish like a planet. Just go ahead and die. War inside, I'm full of pride. I'm about to rise. Make me vanish like a planet. Just go ahead and die.
Just smashing each other over the head with planets. Okay, who came out on top? Thanos? Did Thanos win? Get out of here.
These games bore me, but this will bring a smile to my face.
Oh, he's gonna snap him. Okay.
It'll have to wait.
Coward! Who are you? Who are you?
I'll show you.
Yo, is he going to Fourth World? He's gonna be screwed if he goes to Fourth World.
This is
Yep. Your stones don't work there, my guy.
Your reality is far from my own. You have no power here.
I am Thanos. I am all things. This is who I am.
Pitiful.
Ooh.
Is he looking at us?
Oh my god, it's Deadpool with a gun!
Behold in endless death.
So you watching any anime?
Jesus.
KO!
Oh man, that's the worst way he could have gone out, because now he's gonna be dying over and over and over.
Thanos was an incredible foe, especially while wielding the Infinity Gauntlet. Unfortunately, the gauntlet had a fatal flaw.
Yeah, that golden glove only works in its own universe.
Had a fatal flaw.
Yeah, that golden glove only works in its own universe, and Darkseid could easily move the fight to new ones with his boomstick tubes. Universe hopping is kind of his thing.
The Reed Richards of the Interdimensional Council of Reeds figured this out. Its 3 founding members, Reed, Reed, and Reed, each possessed Infinity Gauntlets, but discovered that they couldn't work outside of their own universes.
The gauntlet had no problem making Darkseid's avatar not feel so good. But since Darkseid's true form was always in the Fourth World universe, Thanos couldn't actually finish him off with the gauntlet.
Even if this fight took place in entirely neutral territory, the victor wouldn't change. Thanos' gauntlet wouldn't work, and true Darkseid's presence would actually just destroy everything just by being there.
But he didn't just lose because of the gauntlet. He really couldn't keep up with the space golem.
Even going toe-to-toe with a being as fast as Silver Surfer was nothing compared to when Darkseid took a trip to the edge of existence. This puts Darkseid almost 28 octillion times faster than Thanos.
And his Omega effect scales to the Astro Force, which could equal the Oblivion Bomb's universe-destroying blast. This means the Omega effect and Infinity Gauntlet were both pretty even in terms of destructive ability. But unlike Thanos, Darkseid can use his Omega powers whenever and wherever he wants.
Once he lost the gauntlet, Thanos could certainly survive star-level attacks, and even greater. But universal destruction is definitely a bit more than his purple eternal hide could handle. And even after that, Darkseid had plenty of ways to end the fight whenever he wanted, like the Omega Sanction.
Thanos was super powerful, but Darkseid was just faster, stronger, and even more ruthless.
And if you think about it, Thanos needed the Infinity Gauntlet to become a god, but Darkseid already was one.
Yeah, boy.
Thanos just couldn't run.
Won the gauntlet!
Oh, you son of a bitch!
The winner is Darkseid.
Overall, guys, gonna have to say I definitely agree with the outcome of this video. Now, like I said at the beginning, I am very versed in comic book characters, so if you want to give me a little bit more of a challenge, guys, leave a comment down below. Give me a death battle that doesn't revolve around strictly comic book characters. Give me a little bit more of a challenge. Maybe we'll make it interesting somehow. I don't know, we'll figure it out. Maybe I'll eat something spicy if I get it wrong. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video as much as I did making it. I love doing these death battles, really enjoy these things. They killed it with the voice, the music, and the animation on this one. Really good job. Custom soundtrack, the whole 9 yards. Just phenomenal. If you guys did like it, go ahead and leave a like. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, go ahead and consider clicking that subscribe button. Really helps the channel out. As always, leave a comment down below. Let me know what other death battles you want me to take a look at in the future, and I will get to those. Thank you so much for watching the video. Take care of yourselves, and have a great day.